Timeline of Predestination. Or as I like to call it, What the Fuck the Movie. Spoilers. Oh yes, spoilers. The following contains examples of circular storytelling facilitated by time travel. If you have problems following the timeline of The Terminator, you may want to skip this one. If you have already watched it, you can stick your head in a microwave and erase those memories. The movie opens to a shadowy character trying to defuse a time bomb. They get distracted and catch their face on fire. Faced with being disfigured for life, they turn into Ethan Hawke. Ethan Hawke is a space cop chasing a terrorist using the time-traveling powers of his magic violin case. Ethan uses his violin case to travel to the 1970s, where he goes to a bar and meets Sarah Snook, who is dressed as a man for some reason. Sarah Snook tells Ethan she was a little girl, and Ethan is surprised.
I was a little girl.
Tragic backstory. Sarah was abandoned on the steps of an orphanage. Sarah Snook didn't get along with the other kids at the orphanage and occasionally had to defend herself. When Sarah graduated from the orphanage, she was scouted by Noah Taylor, who wanted to recruit her for a job where she could go into outer space to have sex with male astronauts. However, one night she met a guy who knew her favorite Abraham Lincoln quote, and she ended up pregnant. She goes into labor and wakes up to a nervous-looking doctor who informs her there were complications during childbirth and the hospital turned her into a man. That night, her baby is kidnapped from the hospital's maternity ward. This is where it gets weird. Yes, this is where it gets weird. Ethan Hawke offers her a deal. If she comes and works as a space cop, he will take her to face the man that ruined her life. Using his magical violin case, he takes her back in time to the night of her one-night stand where, I kid you not, she runs into her younger female self, has a one-night stand, and impregnates her. The microwave is right in the next room. I'm just saying. In the future, the baby's kidnapper is revealed to be Ethan Hawke working at the orders of Noah Taylor. Ethan uses his violin case to take the baby to the past, where he abandons it on the orphanage steps. Ethan then takes Sarah to the future, where she becomes a space cop and receives her very own magic violin case. On her first mission, she tries to defuse a bomb, gets distracted, catches her face on fire, and turns into Ethan Hawke. Ethan Hawke retires to 1975 when he figures out where the terrorist is. He tracks the terrorist down, and it's Ethan Hawke. Ethan Hawke puts all 6 right in the 10 ring. Roll credits. About this time, that microwave starts looking really friendly. The timeline for the movie is thus. Sarah is born, abandoned at the college, recruited by Noah when she turns 18. She has her one-night stand, gives birth, and becomes a man. The baby is kidnapped. Sarah meets Ethan at the bar. Goes back in time to impregnate herself, becomes a space cop, goes on a mission and catches her face on fire. Sarah becomes Ethan Hawke, meets Sarah at the bar, takes Sarah to her one-night stand, meets Noah and has the outside the bureau conversation, kidnaps the baby, abandons the baby at the orphanage, then goes to 1975 to catch the terrorist. We know from the conversation with the terrorist, who is doing the killing people to save people thing, the terrorist stops a chemical spill in Chicago, goes to Hamburg, Germany, where he does something, and blows up the hardshell weapons factory before being killed by Ethan, leaving the timeline looking less like a timeline, more like a double half-gainer backflip with a twist. If you look at the movie from the character's lifeline, it looks like this. Sarah is abandoned at the orphanage, recruited by Noah, has a one-night stand, gives birth, meets Ethan at the bar, becomes a space cop, catches her face on fire, and becomes Ethan Hawke. Ethan meets Sarah at the bar, takes her back to her one-night stand, and has the outside the bureau discussion with Noah. Kidnaps the baby, leaves the baby at the orphanage, takes Sarah to space cop camp, and catches the terrorist, leaving the character's lifeline looking like this. We know from the conversation the terrorist has with Ethan he stopped a chemical spill, did something in Germany, and blew up the weapons factory before being shot by Ethan. The character's lifeline chronology looks like this. If you color code it, it looks like this. Orange for Sarah, blue for Ethan, red for the terrorist. When Ethan Hawke confronts the terrorist, he looks 30-something and the terrorist looks 60-something, leaving about a 30-year gap in the character's lifeline chronology. Naming characters is confusing. Sarah Snook's character was named Jane Doe by the orphanage, a name she passed to her baby. When Sarah Snook's character becomes a male, she changed her name to John Doe, a name shared by Ethan Hawke's young character. The terrorist is only referred to as the Fizzle Bomber. Of all the characters in the movie, the only one with a definitive name is Noah Taylor's Mr. Reynolds, appearing only a handful of times in the movie. Details about this character are hard to come by. However, from the outside the bureau conversation he has with Ethan Hawke before the kidnapping, we learn that 1. He is a former space cop. 2. He has a magic time travel violin case. 3. Knows detailed information about both Sarah Snook's character and Ethan Hawke's character. And 4. He feels
I've always thought we could accomplish so much more nature operating from the outside.
a sentiment mirrored by the terrorist.
I've saved lives more than I ever could have from inside the bureau.
If we look at Noah's character chronology, it looks something like this. This is not canon, but my own conjecture drawn from the film. After shooting the terrorist, Ethan uses the magic powers of the time travel violin case to win the lottery, becomes Noah Taylor, hires Tony Stark to invent the time-traveling violin case, joins the Bureau, recruits Sarah Snook from the orphanage, has the outside the Bureau conversation with Ethan Hawke, and then becomes the terrorist. If you add this to the main character's lifeline chronology, it fills out the character's lifeline chronology, ties the movie to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and makes every major character in the movie the same person. Unfortunately, it makes the movie's timeline look like this.
If you were entertained or educated at all, a thumbs up is always appreciated. Leave your questions, comments, and suggestions below. If you want to follow my series, feel free to subscribe. Outfoxed, a glorious tribute to doing things the hard way.